After a brief break, the Africa Cup of Nations resumes the round of 16 with two interesting matches. Tomorrow, Angola taking on Namibia and Nigeria versus Cameroon. Those encounters will be taking place tomorrow. And to help us look at these matches, we've roped in News 24 senior sport reporter Khanyiso Tshwaku, who also doubles up as an SABC sport analyst. Hey, good morning to you, Khanyiso. Thank you so much for joining us once again on Morning Live.
Good morning, Vui, and good morning to the viewers.
Khanyiso, I want us to start with the Angola and Namibia clash because we know that Angola finished at the top of their group, a very interesting group that included the likes of Burkina Faso, Mauritania and former champions in Algeria. What do you make of their run to the knockout stage so far?
It's surprisingly good. I mean, a colleague remarked yesterday that what they found very interesting about the SADC teams is that a lot of them are very reliant on homegrown talent because they simply don't have the diaspora that's available to, let's say, your West African and your North African teams, where they're able to tap into players who are born in the countries that initially colonized them. So I think it's actually quite surprising. I would have thought that Algeria, as a former champion, as a team that has showed very good form of the past 5 to 7 years, one would have thought it's a given that they're going to get out of that group. But clearly, this AFCON has just come out of a different stew because we've seen like a team like Mauritania. Well, we as South Africans know that they once beat us in a qualifier. Actually, I remember for the 2017 AFCON qualifiers, we only got a point out of possible 6 against Mauritania. So we are not surprised as to how capable they can be. So it's actually quite surprising, but it's also quite heartwarming to see that SADC is represented, considering that from a football perspective, from a technical perspective, from a development perspective, they are not quite as well-funded, as well-attuned as compared to North Africa. So to see an all SADC last 16, it's actually quite heartening to see. And it also ensures that whatever happens in that particular game, SADC will be represented in the quarterfinals.
Indeed, let's talk about the Namibian side because we know that they have the likes of Dion Hotto, Shalulile, Museo of Black Leopards all playing in South Africa. What do you see this title looking like in terms of the competition between Angola and Namibia? And in whose favor do you think it'll go?
Yeah, look, it's anything goes. And I think the beauty of knockout sport, and this is why we kind of expected a boring group stage, and it turned out that it's probably one of the most exciting group stages we've seen of any football tournament. The beauty of knockout games is that anything can and will happen. I mean, Namibia could score in the second minute and defend that lead and find themselves in the next round. It's just one of those things where it becomes difficult to call. I mean, look, if you look at the fact that the winner of that particular tie will get to face one of Nigeria, Cameroon. For them, it's a game of a lifetime, and they win that. They've got another game of a lifetime. I mean, you don't wake up ordinarily thinking that you've got a round of 16 game, and should you progress past that game, you are going to meet one of Nigeria or Cameroon teams who've pretty much not dominated per se, but they share 9 AFCONs between them. So it becomes it's one of those things where you have to pinch yourself as a place that you've actually worked hard to get here. What more do you have to lose? So I think for both teams, I mean, a quarterfinal for them is probably not something they would have planned for at the start of the tournament, but now they're pretty much staring a quarterfinal in the face. And remember that Namibia and Angola are neighbors. They've got a long history. They've got a shared history. They've got a shared history of that especially bonds them during the fight against apartheid. They would have never thought, I mean, in their wildest dreams, that they'll play together in the COSAFA Cup, but beating in an AFCON quarterfinal, I mean, for them, in an AFCON round of 16, I think they would have never imagined that this is something they would have actually dealt with.
Let's move on into that Nigeria-Cameroon clash because we're literally running out of time. Let's talk about that one because Nigeria, not the smoothest of journeys coming into the knockout stage of the competition. And Cameroon, a lot of us thought they'd be out until the last minute. But you look at this Nigerian side, they've got the best player in the continent at the moment in Victor Osimhen. But have they really turned out in this competition?
Look, I think the beauty of this AFCON, or the beauty of AFCONs in particular, is that we are long past the stage where the designated favorite you can see from Mali. Remember when Egypt did their three-peat between 2006 and 2008, where you could see from the get-go that they were head above shoulders the best team in the tournament. Pretty much now, this is where teams need to start peaking, because it's pointless playing well and not being able to find form when it matters. I think that probably makes that particular game the spiciest of this particular set of matches, because one, you've got neighbors, two, you've got neighbors who also don't get along with each other. Three, they actually haven't played well. I mean, Nigeria have been solid without being spectacular. Cameroon made it through by the skin of the teeth. So it's going to make for an interesting tie. These teams have everything to get it, everything to lose from this particular game. I think that will be applicable to Senegal and Ivory Coast when they meet.
Indeed, Khanyiso, thank you so much for your time this morning. We are looking forward to those clashes. Also interested to see whether Andre Onana will start in goals for this Cameroon side or whether it's going to be his cousin that makes it in the goalpost. Thank you so much, Khanyiso, for your time.
Thank you.